Hi guys. About the car, it's more of who you are. It's less about the car, it's more of who you are. One car, many stories, many glories. Your stories. Student chasing every little life. Brother trying hard to feed the home. Still strong though he walks alone. That's a deeper meaning. How are you guys? No matter where you come from today, your story can open the way. It's less about the car. Good evening, guys. It's less about the car. Stories. Many stories. Your story. Many stories. Your stories. This could be a winning dance. It's less about the car. It's more of who you are. It's less about the car. It's more of who you are. Hi guys, Muri Mutia. How is your evening? Sunday. How has your day gone? Me, I drove. I wanted to go to the gym. I stopped half the way. I shopped for the home. I came back and packed here and I waited to do the broadcast. Kata sitwa byuma bya waka. Ngezo kubadabara mwaka genda ako nga kawanvu nenga kangene sitwa byuma bye waka. Mencha kumachanja kusitula. But how is your day, guys? Muri Mutia. Sunday. Do you guys know that Tuesday is Heroes Day? The question is, who is the hero? And some of you guys know the answer better than me. Who is the hero that we are celebrating tomorrow? For the guys that have the answers, you can definitely be telling me. Who is the hero tomorrow? Nia Myombia Maki Akede, good morning. Eno Kawagama, good morning. Presdo Antonio, hi. Mwanguzi David, Chamba de Hannington VIP, Mikel UG. Business card should say I don't do everything. There are things I can't do, definitely. The things I can do them, but there's those that I can't do. Chali wange nina mukwano gwange anonya Mark Tumusota regalia. Atademu n'okwera onanga ina million mwenda ngalabi. Ayagala regalia yennyini. Hey, yeah. I wish him luck. President. Obuze nnyo. So yesterday, President Eguro nakoze ebiganye diagnosis kunuwa ngeyiyo yennyini. But I'm going to get around to that. So yesterday I did two Ebiganye diagnoses. I did them after Chimeza yesterday. Remember we had the Chimeza yesterday that ended at around 2:40 or 3 p.m. there. And then after that, we went and did Ebiganye. Now, but before Ebiganye, let me talk about this Impreza, this 2017 Impreza. You guys have seen it. I've posted it. Yeah. I've also posted the report. Now, the report doesn't have a lot to say here. This Impreza, you guys will read the report. But one thing to note, all these repairs that we put here are not that scary. Yabade konaka cross, that thing that I call a kanege. When it reaches a point and it is, they call them the bearings, cross bearing. So one of the bearing could come out, or all of them could actually come out. So when you engage the gear, you can actually feel the car make a sound. Yeah, when you add the strong gear, either front or behind. So that's one. Of course, the brakes needed. Then the tires were not so good, and also the car had a dent in the roof. Now this car, we bought it at 40 million because and I keep telling you, you'll find that you're saving about 3 to 5 million shillings. Outside the Busubuzi, they are selling them for 44 million shillings. Unfortunately, there's someone that I know that has ever bought this car at 50 million shillings. I know at that time if that was the price. Yeah, but this has the FB20, which is a 2-liter engine, yeah. And yeah, I think basically the biggest defect that we saw with this Impreza was under the car. This car looks nice. It sounded really nice. It didn't have any error code that is concerning. But under the passenger side, remember we have those plastic carpet sort of the covers. Those ones. Now, a huge part of the plastic covers on the passenger side under the engine bay were burnt, and it looked like it was burning from the exhaust pipe, but then it also looked like the car had caught fire previously, so it wasn't very clear. I think that's, for me, that was the biggest red flag for that car. But because the carpets were also near the exhaust pipe, it could have been possible that it's actually the exhaust pipe that has been burning bits of the carpet over the years. So that, for me, that was the only red flag. The rest of the things were actually good. The car looks as good as you see it. It was really a very nice car. And this, I inspected this at around 4. And then I drove to Seta to do Ebiganye for a Noah. Now, how my day went yesterday, I did service for my car. Then we went prepared for Ebiganye diagnosis. What? Sorry, Antonio. Man. Whatever. Pressure yaku. Man. President jango duke nangi. Oyina okutandika okudduka. Ngolabye. Pressure yakuba chichi. Stressy. John's info, good evening. Casual Van VIP, good evening. But I President pressure ya mukuba. I think I'm scared. I think the one reason I be running and I keep running is because I'm scared. It was scary in 2019 when they told me I had hypertension. It was very scary. And I think at that time running 2 kilometers was really hard, but I started. I went off salt for like 2 months. Up to now, I don't eat salt. Okay, in the food, you can't avoid it because you eat food with other people. But if I eat things that would ordinarily demand that I put extra salt, I don't, like the eggs. Sorry, President. I'm going to come and we talk, President. Ngenda kujja tunyumyemu. Ngenda kujja tunyumyemu banzi jeddi bannange. Ngenda kujja ndoza ku Tuesday tunyumyemu. Manyi ku Tuesday kati twakozeko ebiganye babiri, they want us to work on their cars, so we will look at them. Sorry. So anyway, yesterday we did and yesterday's winner was Johnson who? He's called Johnson. I don't know the other name. The guy that won this week, yeah? Yeah, Sibi Kenze. I'm too scared about. I think high blood pressure is one scary thing, yeah? We need to try as much as possible. I think at Fengaba Sajjay, we as men, the biggest thing we should work on, guys, double tap the screen. We have only 9 likes. We should have equal number. I think the biggest thing for us as men is to try and control stress. Everything that would stress you, try as much as possible and put it out of your life. And we have a lot of things that would stress us. For us, you see, as a man, you have the stress of your own life. You have the stress of your wife or girlfriend. You have the stress of your kids. You have the stress of the extended family on your side, on your woman's side, if that applies to you. And all the stress is on you. Normally, when you have with the women, normally they have their own stress and the stress of their family. But then their stress can be lifted when there is a man that helps unburden them. You get. Kayatefe bwe tugattako stress y'abali bonna n'ogattako n'omukazi okustressinga bw'oba omulina n'ogattako emirimu tegitambula nga bw'oyagala gitambule n'ogattako n'okuba ng'oli mu Uganda maani n'ekyo nakyo kirala. Man, soke tubeeko amanyumize ku lunaku olwaggulo. Ne president naye tujja mujja asooka aveeyokko bw'atyo, asooka aveeyokko abeere distracted a little. So yesterday we did a chimeza chemoroka. You remember yesterday we got a winner for week 3. So week 4 starts officially tomorrow. But also had serious malaria, but now I'm doing fine and well. And today I even played morning football. Oh yeah, that's a kati atan kauzanyo mpira regularly. Naye kati omanyi president stura ne kubyuma. Ate mwe you people don't know Antonio munene. Naye obunene bwe si bwa byuma, obunene bwe bwa masavu. Kati Antonio alina okusitula ebyuma, akola exercises zisala amasavu aberenga alina muscle. Okitigira muscle composition. Like someone was saying that the heart doesn't know when you're heavy, the heart doesn't know if you're heavy because of fat or if you're heavy because of muscle. Omutima gusigala guli stressed. But either way, president gendo situla ebyuma. President naye tumu distracting. So anyway, so yesterday after each meza chemoroka, the guy Owa Harrier, you guys have seen the report, right? Let me see if I can. The Harrier, I did Ebiganye diagnosis on the Harrier. It's a 2006 Harrier, the black one you guys saw. Now the gentleman called me exactly yesterday at around 10 telling me yabadali mukungamba yabadali mukungamba emoroka ye Toyota Harrier, not actually his, but okay, it's his car. It had an issue with the gearbox, and when he came to me, he revealed no information. Then he said his mechanic was recommending they take the gearbox out, which he refused. And then he went to a wiring guy, they repair solenoids and all that. And then the gear continued acting up. And at this time, because he was telling me, his mechanic is telling him, we replaced the gearbox, So when he called me, I was honest. I always try to be honest. I told him, yes, Ebiganye diagnosis. Me, I like the money. If you give me the money, I'll eat it. And I was straight. I told him, why do you want me to look at the car if your mechanic has already found a solution for the car? Why don't you just use the 350 you would give me to diagnose the car? Use it, give it to the mechanic to repair you get. So I told him that, and he said, either way, I still want you to give me a second opinion. So he brought the car and we put a diagnosis machine. That's a very important thing always, to put a diagnosis machine on all these cars. I think all cars 2001 and above, before you repair anything, first put a diagnostic machine and find out what is wrong with the car. All cars 2001 and above. Okay, so we put a diagnosis machine, and the first thing we saw was the car was not charging. Now, this was the Toyota Harrier. When we put the diagnostic machine, it brought us two error codes. The first code was the P0778. Now that's the solenoid, that's in the gearbox. But it also brought another fault code, battery deterioration. It's a battery related voltage code. The vehicle clearly had the charging problem, and then it had other codes there which were not that important. So we did use the multimeter to find out what the charging state was of the car, and it was giving 12.36. Now a normal vehicle should charge up to about 13.8 volts. Yeah, so it wasn't charging. Now there are so many things that could happen to lead to the battery not charging, which would include the alternator being bad, the battery being bad, the terminals, yeah, and a bunch of other things. But one thing you guys need to understand, that when a car is not charging properly, a lot of things can go wrong. When a car doesn't have enough frame, negative chiva ku negative ya battery chigenda ku body. A bunch of other wires go to other places. One goes to the engine, you'll find that one goes to the gearbox, and a bunch of other wires giving frame everywhere. Jagendo busanga everywhere nga bunji. That's the negative. Bubaita earthing mu nyumba zino zaffe. That's why if you find a house that has poor earthing, amasanyalaze gakuba bwokwata ku percolator oba bwokwata ku flat iron, amasanyalaze gakuba because there is poor earthing. Now the frame is the earthing of the car. I'm not a wiring expert, but this is one thing that all of you guys should know. Your battery is very important on your car. If your battery doesn't give your car proper voltage, it can kill your ECU, it can kill your gearbox, it can kill the electronics. It's like the fluctuation of the power in the house. If the power of the car from the battery keeps fluctuating, it's definitely going to give you trouble. And that was the biggest problem of that car, the Harrier. Now, the problem normally happens that when your mechanic, I don't want to say they all do this, but majority of the time when your mechanic checks your car, they look to the thing that's going to give them more money. They ignore the small stuff, because the small stuff, when they tell you the small stuff, they know you will not believe them, or you want to pay them small monies. So they focus on the big things. Now, yes, now even though it brought the pressure control solenoid error, right now for us we don't know if that error wasn't brought about by opening the gearbox, because when he phoned us, then he said, you know what, my mechanic actually took out the gearbox eventually. But before they take out the engine or the gearbox, if the car is not charging, if your car ever brings issues, all those simple things that give people trouble, first check the charging. Does the car get enough current from the alternator? Does the alternator work? Is the battery okay? This car, I had got it from the bond for like a couple of weeks. I think it was about 7-8 weeks there. And this car, I had gone to, again, they were mechanica. In a wafeno mchalo, you know, mechanica. Na mechanica, mkonsa nyo kuchusa burechi, kunyiga mbukono, titugena nyumbili advanced. Kati. I go to him, tumalo chusa burechi. I go and park to, I was going to the gym. So I go to the gym. You know how you park the car? No, yagaro obuze ku chaliwo. I come back and the car is not starting. It was the first time I saw. Joking that this car is hybrid. It's not starting. So I have a jump starter. I always have a jump starter in the car. I go, we jump start it, it starts. So when it starts properly, I say, Kanjireke a charging a battery over battery with deco. I do it, I leave the car to run for like 5 minutes, and then I turn off, I close the car, I go do my things, I come, it stops again. So like always when you start it, it goes, and then it goes off. You get it? So I get home and I get a multimeter and I measure, and it's inconsistent. So, but the car charges properly. So the next day I went and bought a battery, and I've never got the trouble, any more trouble from that like that. So it was the battery. When your battery is bad, when it's not charging, you're going to have a lot of trouble. You need to make sure before you start fixing any other thing. The other things we saw with the Harrier, he had a lot of looped fuses in the fuse box. Umanyi fuse bweziberanga ziri looped. Akawaya kasobola okwenyamu kati katono bwati nako ne kabuza amaanyi. Like the fuse ya EFI, I think we noted the EFI fuse, where is the loose connection. The EFI fuse, the ECU fuse, yeah, and all these, the owner of the car kept saying all the things that he was saying could be directly linked to all these electrical problems that the car had. You get the battery, the loose connections, and then it went to the coil sockets. You guys know the coils. The coils are the ones that deliver power to the plugs, so that the plugs then can spark. So the coils, the sockets were also not good. I think 1 or 2 cylinders were not even getting the power from the coils. So that was another problem. Now, when we looked at those things, the gearbox solenoid could also be an issue. But before you do any of these things, the electrical repairs, there is no even point of looking at the gearbox as a culprit. You get, it's like someone saying, Arthur, I have a headache, but then they have flu, they have cough, yeah, they have flu, they have cough, and maybe they have, you text, they go for testing, they have flu, they have cough, they have a bit of malaria. So if a doctor goes and starts treating the headache without treating the malaria, flu, and cough, tuba tulagawa. You get? So we did this one, because already the issues that were there were very small. And then the guy said, something like that. So without actually fixing the electrical problems, going to the gearbox would actually be a wastage of money, which he already did. He already wasted money, fixed the gearbox. He did not do what they wanted to do. The electrical problems were not touched, but the electrical problems are still there. So before you fix the electric problems, don't go to the gearbox, don't start overhauling the engine and all that. I think wiring problems in cars are the biggest. They are the biggest problems that you can ever find. So that was the Harrier. We did diagnosis quickly, because at this time when I was doing the diagnosis for this Harrier, at the same time, someone was waiting for me to inspect a car in the bond. So we left this place and went to the bond to look at that Impreza. Now that Impreza was a bit of overkill. It's supposed to be about 38 where he bought it. It should have been 38 or 39 million. But that was still okay, because this one had it had a good color. It was white. The rest were gray, silver, black. This was white, and he really wanted white. So we went and did that inspection. Then we drove and went to SETA. Now, for the guys of Ebiganye diagnosis, I need you to understand that I can come to you, but then you add transport. Katono SETA, he gave me extra fuel. He paid the 350 for Ebiganye and then paid for fuel. Now, the Noah we are talking about is the same Noah that President Antonio has, yeah? It's the Noah that has the 1AZ engine, Ibaya D4. This car has pressure switch problems. It has nozzle problems, the normal problems that disturb these cars. Pressure switch, nozzles, and then there's this thing that is called there's a circuit there that needs to be fixed as well. So, but I put diagnosis. It's a motor car zone 2001 and above. The first thing you do is put a diagnosis machine, find the codes that you have, and once you find the codes, first work on the issues the machine has reported before you start fixing other things. Now, this car, the gentleman told me, has had the car for like 2 years, 3, but he last enjoyed driving the car 2 months after he bought it. Kati yajigula 3 years ago, but majority of the time that car has been packed. Yajimira only 2 months. He drove it for only 2 months and then he started having issues. You get losing power. Even yesterday it was losing power. Hard driving it was really hard. And yeah, so I think he fixed things until he said, you know what, let me call Arthur. And when we put the diagnosis machine, it brought the first error code was PO135. That's oxygen sensor. I am sure the guys of NOAA's, I'm sure President Anthony, you have changed oxygen sensors and you might actually be getting tired as well. There's also the EDU circuit. Now, this is part of the fuel system, the fuel injection system. Now, switch chiri wano maso. Antonio Gotiko kuba ochimanyi. Switch. However, this car also has a problem with nozzles. Remember putting the nozzles in this car. Okuzisayo na zo nzibu. Kati could be putting the nozzles nozimenya. Atemo wefa. So now how do we know this? Physically checking, 2 coils were not working as they should. And remember, if one nozzle is not working, 2 nozzles will go off. That's how it is. You can see the firing in 2s, 2 go up, 2 go down. 2 go down, 2 go up, like that. So if one is not working, the other will also not be working. And like that. So this one, of course, it was basically fuel pressure. And he has worked on the fuel pressure for about how many times? But because he said he has been replacing the nozzles multiple times, I figured it's the way the nozzles were being replaced. And they need someone to actually replace them as carefully. There is a boy that I know that replaces those nozzles. Because that NOAA was a very nice car. If you have looked at that, okay, so nice. Yeah, but yeah, the NOAA is a very comfortable car. That NOAA. Was actually asking Arthur Banji College and I was telling him no. It's okay, you get, because all the tires were new, the interior was superb, bumper yokai yabadenge and BBB. So it will be majorly the nozzles. Pose nechi switch cha injector gundi cha injector chinzo kuchuka echo. So that's what we looked at. And for me, the solution with cars like that are very hard, what should always be done is you never pay your mechanic, you never give your mechanic money until he's done. With cars like that, no. Of course, as a diagnosis is on zilianga sinama kona chintu chona. Nayo kukanika. Once someone has diagnosed a problem, they should work on it, finish it, but buchita guauto musasura. And I think that's where most of the people lose hope with their cars. They take a car to the garage, the person starts fixing the car, starts asking for money here and there, and the car is not getting better. You get, and then by end of day you've spent 500,000, but there is no progress. The goal with cars like that should always be the mechanic has the car, they work on it, it gets better, they call you, you test drive it for a considerable distance, you prove that the car is now okay, you pay. However, in instances like this, it can be very expensive. But in cases where someone actually is going to fix your car and fix it, you pay after, it might end up doubling how much you're going to spend. You get it? But normally I find with cars like that, but banyina GDI, Pajero, sama banyina Mazda, sama banyina Ford, eze moro kezo makanika babayeka kasabya makanika mugambe yiyo. Gobo jimana ngamba sasure. You get, then they give you a range and then you fix it. The cars like that are not the kind of cars. Give them the money, let him bring the shocks, put them. But where in instances where you have had a car that has made you struggle for some time and you keep paying different mechanics to fix it, it doesn't actually make sense. Then probably the other thing that could happen, something that I've seen with the Ebiganye diagnosis that happens a lot, is someone brings a car to me, I diagnose the car. Of course, I tell you can take it and fix it from elsewhere. And we talk about it, and he goes or she goes, and then why that person is there, someone gives them an idea that, you know what, let's do this, then they fix, and then the problem doesn't go away, and then they come back to me, you get, and then they want to use the same diagnosis fee that we used the other time to keep diagnosing. It doesn't work like that. When I diagnose and I tell you do this and this, you go and do something else, then you can't come back and say, Arthur, you pay different fee for that, because it's Ebiganye. The people that have fixed cars for after Ebiganye diagnosis, that's one. I think that's the one thing that I've seen. Pade, you guys remember Pade? Pade eyampa Honda Odyssey. Yo Honda twagikola neyaka negia nekola netuka negana okukyusa nafuna makanika gia nayagitereza. For me, the biggest issue with the Honda Odyssey was that it reached a point nga steering rack etonya nga bagikanisa eganye, and I told him, you know what, this car is not a bad car, but the steering rack is going to be a problem to you. Why don't we sell it like this, the way it is, since it moves? He refused. He took it and I think drove it for a couple of months. He ended up selling the car either way. And these are normally these recommendations I make to people. There's a gentleman, if you remember, a couple of months ago, we bought an Alphard. You remember the story? We bought a Toyota Alphard. They were going to Entebbe. His brother was driving him. The brother, instead of driving in drive, drove in two. You get, and then the car overheated on the express. Now, on the day we buy the car, when the car overheats, especially when the person that has bought the car is his first car they don't know, the first instinct is always to blame Arthur. You did not check properly. Arthur temwake bidebulunje moroke echamuse. You guys remember that story? It was at around midnight. I sent a mechanic to go there. At midnight, the mechanic went there, and when the mechanic got on the scene, then he got to know the truth, that the driver wasn't actually driving in drive, he was driving in one gear. Number two, can you guys imagine driving in one gear from the start of the Entebbe Express in Busega, and the car overheats near Entebbe? Now, this thing has not happened to just that one person. There is another person who bought an Alphard with still an Yateka Mutu. The car should stay in drive. I think that's why hybrids have only two gears, reverse and drive. They have also the B gear, but the B doesn't really make sense. It's only two gears. So I was having a chat with the gentleman. I thought he had actually sold the car. We repaired the engine, and 2AZ is one of those engines that is very easy to fix. But you could so he was talking to me. I did a video a couple of days ago. I talked to one gentleman this side who had bought a G2 and he had a very bad accident history, and then he has invested a lot of money. He wanted to sell the car, and I told him don't sell it. And then I did a video, and then so this gentleman took a screenshot of the video and sent it to me, the one of the Alphard. Said, Arthur, it's like you're speaking about me. And then I asked him, but I thought that car was fixed totally. Does it have a problem? And he says, no, I'm trying to patch it up so that I can sell it. And I said, but that car is very fixable. Why would you want to sell a car that is easy to fix? Guys, there are cars that are easy to fix. Me, I bought a Prius. Nenjikola najigana abantu bango okujigula kuboba ali nyigiddebo. Nze nenjikola nenjitunda. Ngajikoze. Ate bwe najikola nange nenjivuga ebbanga. You guys saw. There are 2 weeks when this car was being reconditioned, the batteries were being reconditioned. I drove that Prius for 2 weeks every day. Ngajivuga nenjijeno mu kyalo nenjitwala mu kibuga nenjiza mu kyalo nenjitwala mu kibuga nekola inspection as driving the same car. You get it? So me, I know that of course cars are not as complicated as people, because it's very easy for you to replace a part in a car. If the engine is giving you trouble and you know a place where you can get the engine, you put it there. You get if right now our guys have gotten skills. They can work on entire wire harnesses. Each wire chaidemu wayemu, each wire nga bapangule muruka nga bachijjayo. Nga baginonya wire yaide. They replace that one wire that has a problem. You get these things we have done. We did it with the Starlet. We did it with the Carina. We are doing all this work. You get So for me, I find that all these cars are fixable. However, sometimes for me, when I discourage you guys from buying certain cars, I'm discouraging you because I know you might not be able to take the trouble that will come with you actually fixing it. Not that the car cannot be fixed, but there are cars that will give you trouble and you end up hating yourself. You get? Like you see, the 2004 Noah is a very comfortable car, a very nice car. But once it starts giving you trouble, the mechanics that are around you may actually make you hate the car. Ntibaji kanikanga teterira yongera kufulumba teterira and then you end up hating it. It's the same thing that will happen with the Mazdas. You buy a Mazda, you live in Matugande, only a Mazda mechanic is in Ntinda. You can imagine you having to go to Ntinda every time you want to fix something. You get, and you're scared of the mechanics all around. Unless, like, let's say you're buying a car that doesn't need servicing or fixing, that could be proper. But if you are buying a car where you need them, like you see with the hybrids, especially now me, the only thing that actually dies all the time would be the hybrid, the inverter coolant pump. That one I replace it on my own. Now to me China. Now why? Because I can't cover without warning. I am sure most of the people whose cars have died, yeah, they have died because of that. The hybrids amulaba nti Prius yafude bajjamu yingi ni eri yali ne bateka mwane nze ne bateka mwane oba ne bagisulawo, that pump. And it's because when it dies, it doesn't actually warn you. You can keep driving for months ngakafada until those inverter bwe chamuka muli neyo chayo kyebintu ate inverter bwe gira obato chaina moroka mu hybrid. So that thing, so I learned how to replace it myself. So let it be at 1 a.m. I have my tools in my boot, just come out, replace it, and then be on my way. Bleeding, so it needs also to be bled. And now those are some of the things that probably hybrid. Probably also have someone on call. We can always call them. May have someone on call for almost everything. And then probably the other thing I said in the video was you need to have a mechanic for everything. You have an engine mechanic, transmission mechanic, you have a wiring mechanic, a suspension mechanic. You have someone for everything. If they can't be there, at least let it be that you can call them and they advise you. The gentleman we were Matugoyo wa G-Touring. The G-Touring is one of the easiest cars to fix. Nganda nyo. And then he ended up saying the biggest problems he has with this car are wiring problems. And asked him, do you have a wiring guy? And he says, no. Katuno makanika wangeba moroka asoka na agezako. Bwebigana kati makanika yo wa engine. Now, the engine mechanic fails and then he takes the car to the wiring guy. And I told him the problem is you have to go through the engine guy to find the wiring guy. So when the wiring guy charges 25,000 or 30,000, now the engine guy has to add 20 of his own because he has been using his time to keep guard of your car. You get, so then you end up paying 50 for a job that would have cost 30. And probably if had you been there, you would have got the job for 20. So I ended up sharing a number with him of a wiring guy this way in the village, a wiring guy and an engine guy. The engine guy most of the time doubles as a suspension guy. Yeah. So the wiring wafema tugwali omuvubuka wa wiring. Simanyo ba Isaac omumanyi Swaibu omumanyi. Swaibu akola waya. Swaibu akola waya anonya faults nazifuna nga ate wa mukyala ali awo yematirangera avuka ba wiring aba ninatuka ngatacha nematirako. Natuka ngatacha nematiranga ba nematirako yafiirwa. Nenga Swaibu jali, Swaibu akanika wiring. And every area has their own its own wiring guy. And then but every car, it doesn't matter which car you're driving, every car has a last man. When I say last man, every car has the person they take to last before you say now it's done. Nga bw'otwale oyo guy n'egaana ng'oziika nziko gange ikoze eki eganye. Isaac, what's up? Sorry. Chichi. Isaac, chichi. Ne family yonna muli balwadde. Gabizibu. Chichi. Muruji Nathan, hi. Rama Charity Organization, hi. Isaac, Chichi, Mukama Patrick, hi. President, nze nkulinze. Nyinza n'okusalako nga gwe tonnaba kujja. But everyone that is sick, Mukama abateremu obwangu, we are praying for you. Reaction. Isaac, sorry man. That's not clear, but sorry. Sorry, ate malaria ennaku zino naye wa bbeeyi. Fuzi ng'ogenze mu drug shop fene waffe tulina ka drug shop malaria wa kakaaga. Naye bwe tugenda mu kliniki yaffe eno malaria ovaayo ng'atute emitwalo nga 7 kati gwalondawo woolaga. Sorry Isaac. Katubasabire mwenna mudde engulu bulungi nnyo obulwadde bugende. Sad. Naye katuteekemu essaala. So guys, mademba gamba buli moroka ina last man. Buli moroka ina omuntu asemba, makanika asembayo. Nga buli kimu bwe kigaana gye mugenda nga ye bwe mulema biba biganye. Near that pharmacy, waliwo eddwaliro awo Isaac. Awo tewali ddwaliro. Wano nga kukobiri wano. And that's the pharmacy that is cheap. After we have some hybrid, they don't buy a hybrid Subaru. Nathan, don't buy. It's not hybrid. It's not actually hybrid. I know you want to buy a Subaru and also buy a hybrid. It's not a hybrid. Okay, they say it's hybrid. It's not really hybrid. Isaac, pharmacy jengulako ya RIC eneno wano mukakona no kakobire check opposite ne check kasangati. We wogamba. Buli moroka has a last man standing. Last man standing we moroka kati eyo nuwe eyo giraba 2 eyo nuwa buli makanika agikwata ko naye wabaayo bakaguje baazo nga bwagikwatako neegaana ng'osuula nsuule. You remember my primo old model gye nabagambe eyammanyo gye nali nvuga. That primo baamala ogisumulula yingi ne bagikwatamu n'etandika okubuza amaanyi nga ku lusozi ebuza amaanyi. The good thing it was manual. Ebakuba automatic aiba titambulirako ddala. Naye ngitwala ewa Joffrey. Ne Joffrey agamba kuno bulwadde si bwa masannyalaze. Nga bwenzize wa makanika wa yingini agamba bwa masannyalaze. Bamakanika bonna kati n'ateeko eyo primo bonna yabalema. The last man standing for all the last men standing for that primo balimu. Nentuuka nengula namukadde nga ne primo weeri. Nenjiwa makanika awo omulala. Ne mugamba gisumule bwe yagisumulula. N'agisiba n'eddamu n'ebuza amaanyi. N'eddamu n'agisumulula n'ebuza amaanyi. Luvannyuma nnyo agisumulula. Bakwata bati mu buloka nga buloka erimu ki enjatika. At that time I did not know about the sleeves. Kuba kati yingi ne baziteekamu sleeve olwatika ne baluma mweru liringi teddamu odduwulira. At that time I did not know. Kati munnange bwe ntyo. Emmotoka bwe baddamu n'enjigulira buloka n'etereera netandika n'okunywa obulungi amafuta. So there's always, sometimes the last man standing is you, not any other mechanic. Sometimes it's you to say jangu sunula yingi ntugyetegereze nimutandika ogyetegereza. And you remember Ugandan mechanics don't have tools, because kati sirinda ngewe beri mwebi ebintu tool esobola okulaga nti sirinda kati eyisaamu empewo eyisaamu byetalina yisaamu. Oh, ntegeddewo nja kujja nkusaleko one of these days naye kambasabire mutereere naddala gwe kuba gwe yingini ML350 for Matic. Petrol, buy petrol, you will enjoy. Don't buy diesel. Don't buy petrol, you will enjoy. If you buy diesel, you will suffer. The diesel is cheaper for a reason. Nebogena mu bondi, diesels are cheaper than petrol for a reason. Chechine ku Mazda, you'll find the diesel at 65, the petrol at 72. Way round out. Average cost of a shock 2014 Wish 250 should be okay for a pair. Sometimes it can even go lower. I'm giving you 250. Mechanical mekuga mitwala abiri mu video gambe athanga mitwala abiri. Can even go lower. Never mitwala abiri mu 5 for 2. Akiram, good evening. So guys, I saw some terrible news. There's a rugby player that was killed. That rugby player, abantu bamukubye, they are saying muyabadde ali mukubba kasawo. Everyone is saying it wasn't true. Nenga bambi omuvubuka yafudde. And they were killing. I'm all not for mob justice, because mob justice is bad. Sometimes doing mob justice, you kill innocent people without knowing. One shock you're going to buy, ogenda kugula nkadde. It's very rare to find someone that sells new shocks na kuguzako one, because nayaba yasobodde in payers. So with the shock bobo gulemo ogenda jigula mitwalo nga 8 nkadde. 8 ogende iwakiseka jagula na mpike mu kimanyi. Kati but enkadde je ziri kati nze mu Morocco eno shock empya teziriyo in my Prius. Shock empya teziriyo zinogula nkadde. Ogula Japan used. So you saw the rugby player that was killed. How much can I get a good Toyota Wish? The new model count 25 minimum 25, a good one. The old model 18, 20, you're good. I would not buy the old model Wish at 20 million. I'd rather top up money and buy the new model Wish. After we're opening our plaza next, nakanabya kazimbe kamwe Isaac kanyirida kazimbe kamwe kanyirida Isaac mutuwe ku sente. Nema mwaji wa sente muina approved plani kazimba kajja kutuluma nnyo mwakakolera plani muina occupational permit. I've been told that the new trending targeting people feel sorry. So what I heard the story about that guy Waragbe, that Baba de Bagara, they wanted to steal his car. So they came, they wanted to steal his car, then they shouted that he stole a bag. People started beating him, and then the other guy stole the car. Then someone also shared on X. A friend of his, it was a girl. A friend of hers caught the girlfriend cheating. Okay, they called the girlfriend with another man. So we don't know if it was cheating. But the guy suspected the girlfriend was cheating. He phoned the girlfriend with another man. He had bought the phone she was using to communicate with this new man. So the guy said, "Give me my phone, I'm the one that bought it." Grabbed the phone and walked away. So the girl did not want to be embarrassed. So he shouted, people beat the guy into a coma. Police came, got the body of the guy, took it to the mortuary. And he woke up later in the mortuary. While they were even preparing to bury him, he woke up, and that's how he was able to tell the story that, you know what, I caught my girl. Nobody knows if it's true, but the friend knows that happened. So I think mob justice is bad, but I also think the government is fueling mob justice. Every time thieves are caught and you release them, sometimes the thieves even come and they say to call another police. And so the people are going to be doing mob justice. I find that for us as men, we are in danger of being lynched. It's very rare to find people beating a woman like that. They beat men. So one way we can avoid being in places where you're not known, Me, I try to avoid that. When I'm in a place where I am not known, I'm always with someone. It's very rare to find me. Mbonsange munakawa and I am moving alone. Me. And I've always been like that. I'm always very suspicious. I've always been. So if you find me in Nakawa, I'm always moving with someone that is known in the same place. Or I'm always moving with someone. It's very rare to find me moving alone. It's only the places where I am known or the places where I've gone to do something specific. And these days I rarely go to places. I have a border guy that I send to buy me stuff. I don't go to places. A lot of bad things could happen. The Ugandans are angry now, and they have every right to be angry. You guys know, Ugandans are angry. Any slight chance they have to punish someone, they will punish them, because they cannot punish the big people that are doing injustices on them. They find a small person that they can punish, they will punish them. Sometimes they punish them to death, and it's very sad. So when you can avoid being in places that look chaotic, please leave. Katola, about that place where they beat that guy up from, it's because it was highly populated. It was unpredictable what could happen. So me, I avoid places like that, because in places that are highly, everyone has been affected by thieves. Everyone has been affected by thieves. But and when it's a point where they say, oh, chances are high everyone is going to beat with a lot of anger, because probably they were beaten by a thief, they were robbed by a thief. We have all been affected one way or another. And me, I want to understand everyone, but we as men, we need to be extra careful. Very careful. When I drive my car to a place and I see it's very suspicious, I drive away. I will drive away. Like yesterday, before I looked at the area for Ebiganye diagnosis, I was supposed to meet a gentleman somewhere else, but the heart refused, and I told him, you know what, come meet me at my office, and he came. Me, I try. So every man should try as much. Hi Julie, how are you? Adam, hi. Everyone. The next car healed. You cannot even know that I've ever had it's okay. See the same. It healed. It went away. So things go. I wasn't. There's a time I saw a picture of this car. If it wasn't you talking about it, I didn't even remember it, Martin. 15 million, can I get a Romeo? No, you can't. Okay, you can get one without an engine or gearbox, and that way, you get it at 15, buy the gearbox at 5, buy the engine at 2.7, that will be 7.7, 7.7, which will mean you would have bought the car at 22.7. Then when you put the engine and gearbox in there, then obviously if the engine and gearbox are missing, the ECU is also missing, so buy the ECU at about 300,000. Then do a bit wiring because it would have been destroyed, then do some suspension work, and trust me, that Romeo will end up at 25 million shillings. So 15 is a no-go zone for you. After, did you see the car accident that happened on Monday in Mitiana? I saw people are angry. People, guys, abantu banyivu. I'll share my experience. There is a time I was going, it was a Saturday, I was in high spirit. I was driving my Corolla and Nakajigulai. Every car, when you have just bought it, it's new. It might not be new, but for you it's new. The AC was working, I had loud music on, and I was driving. I reached a corner, I was doing about 45-50 kilometers per hour. Now, Mucharene, what 50 kilometers is a lot. And I took a turn. When I took a turn, I tried to dodge them. And at that moment, so there was, the injury wasn't that bad. I got out of the car. I went to see the person put him in the car. Netugenda nemutwala ku ddwaliro nemuleka ku ddwaliro nga bali mumukolako nenzija nensanga yabadde ne pitch nemugajja tugende pitch bagikole nenjitwa ne bakola pitch nimana nze mu ddwaliro ndaba oli ali mu ddwaliro ne bamujjanjaba, they recovered, and then that was done. But my experience at that point, nalabo obusungu, that's just one of the experiences. Nalabo obusungu, there is a man I had never talked to. Naja, he said, oh yo, yali atomete There's a guy Isonga Munyivu. There's just this one person, he's a broker. Namuda Banga broker, we were Bakuli. Which again, and at that time I was already doing my content. So I don't want to relate that that's where the anger came from, but he was angry. No one else was angry, by the way. No one else was angry. And everyone was asking, and so, but that's the other thing that I saw. I was still in Kasangati. I was coming off the road. I've shared this story before. Coming off the road, going what tax ne muamata na imirira ne chama mbanzi ya nendingirwa boda nga jaduka kati moroka. The guy was driving, had a guard, a metal guard, so I could not put the guard, people would die. I turned, I gave them the door. I came out. Unfortunately, the taxi guy drove off, but there was a police officer who was not in uniform that was around. So when I got out, I saw some of the border guys that I was using sometimes. They are angry. You guys, if you have not been in situations like this, you would not know that Ugandans are angry. They are very nice people, but they are angry. So what I did, I got the passengers that was on the motorcycle. There were 3, 2 kids, 1 man, 1 woman. Passengers. I took them to a clinic. They got treated. I gave them some money. They wrote for me that Mbamazo Badjanja. I came back to the border guy. There was a police officer. He said, where are the passengers? Are they okay? Yes. The passengers came, confirmed they were okay, took a taxi and went away. Now, after that happened, I came to the border guy. He was in wrong, definitely. He was in wrong. Now, I tried to reason with the guy. He refused. He was like, buy me a motorcycle. The police officer said, you leave this. Then he said, you give me your permit. Bring your driver's license. Where is the third party? Before we were done, the border guy was taking his border going away. You get it? Now, for me, from that time, I realized that people are angry. Now, that incident when we Kugambi, the way I take the guy, then fix the border, I realized people are angry. Now, there's this instance where the rugby guy was killed. Yeah? Why are you beating someone? First, get him, put him there, get the complainant. Yeah? And also this business of people just beating someone because someone has shouted is bad. Because I saw that dude, and I could imagine myself. Let me tell you, there is another story I shared with you of my neighbor in Chevan when I was still renting. My neighbor, I used to be a friend to his son. Now, you remember the story, I had a screen, laptop wasn't working. He had a laptop, screen wasn't working. Then I had a friend who fixes computers. We gave them both our computers to get the screen out of my non-working computer, put the screen in the other guy whose computer was working. And then the guy refused to bring back the computer, even sold it. The mother kept saying, oh yeah, because I had dreadlocks. The mother did not even know where the story started from. Nenga, she's already saying, so people are angry generally. And I find that people have a lot of biases about people. I think stop being biased at looking at tribes and saying, all those things are biases. Don't be biased on someone because they have dreadlocks. Just look at the character as they go along and judge them by that. So it's sad what happened to the rugby player, and a lot of people have been sad that happened to him, and people are getting arrested because there were cameras there, clips were taken and put on TikTok. So people are going to be arrested for that, and it's going to be because that's going to be murder. You killed someone, you get. And then I think there's a time when a boy stole my phone, Nemugoba, Nibamukuba, Nentukanga atenze mutasa, ngabanga atho muntu we bwana afira wano, ogumusango go, nzene mutasa omubi, ngamazo okundabula. So I don't think anyone should be taking part in mob justice. Sente bakola ankole. Anything where money is involved, sente bakola ankolo zita. Amina Habad victorious. You have Edwin, you have the anger for border people. Me, I have my anger, but I have my anger for individuals. Nze wenyiga nkuchawa nenkuchawa. No. Isaac, I'm going to see if I can come for the opening. So the accident in Mitiana, the boy that I think one of the things that young men should do is stop drinking until morning. And also they should also understand that a car is very dangerous, but it's more dangerous to you than the people around you. If you knock someone dead, that person is dead. You are alive. People are going to press you. So we need to understand that cars are tools, but they are very dangerous to us. They are dangerous for other people, but they're too dangerous for us. You get negwe sente ogenda botomera omuntu nafe ekitono nnyo kyo spending azibe million 2 ekitono. If you knock someone dead, the very minimum you will spend will be 20 million, and that's if you're fast. If you're not fast, your entire life will go down the drain. So you need to be very careful when you're driving. After I have 2 personalities, one is for YouTube and another is for TikTok. I don't really have 2 personalities. I adjust. TikTok adjusted me. David Mwanguzi mark to musotaka start weeronda million mwendo sobiro gifuna. Million mwenda you can, I don't know where it is, but I know you can get it. 9 million is good money. But also, Martin, there are 2 people. The people on YouTube, you people on YouTube are different. Also, the people on TikTok are different. Very, very different. Yeah, so, and I think this is where I was. And then you guys, Antonio Nambeda, TikTok. That's how I went. I didn't even have TikTok on my phone at that time. Yeah, so I guess you could say I have 2 personalities. Masi, whatever guy, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Probably there is another thing that I had that I wanted to. What was that? Something I was intending to talk about. Maybe if I remember, I'll talk about it tomorrow. I know TikTok has a lot of negativity. In Northern Uganda, you'll spend how much, Isaac? But of course, the minimum will be 20 million. So while you're driving, you need to be very careful on the road. And we people that drive cars, we pay for the stupidity of everyone. When you're driving a car, everyone that is doing worse than you thinks they are brighter than you. They just could TikTok or could I think when you have a car, everyone that doesn't have a car, they think you don't deserve to have that car. They deserve to have it. And I think for them, they think it was by chance that you have a car. They don't think nobody that doesn't have a car thinks you worked hard to get the car. They think you are lucky. I think that's why people have that kind of negativity towards people that are doing better than them. Most of the people that you're doing better than, I think they be there thinking that you got there by luck. They don't know that luck is the best friend of preparation. If you're prepared, luck finds you, and things happen. Christian Mulunga, you are late. It's very sad that I have to leave you guys. Every time I come here to talk to you, I kind of forget all the troubles that are happening in my life. I forget all the worries. My stress reduces a lot. So I would like to tell you I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to come here. Whether I have 2 people watching me, I'll be here. Like when I'm here, everything kind of like relaxes. Like when I'm here, there's nothing else. I think Mama Baniagamba tuyomba nze nenyomba naye German GeForce Auto VIP, German Auto GeForce VIP. How are you? Mama Ban said that we can quarrel, and then me I come and I talk to you guys, and for her she has no one to talk to, but she has her sisters. Me, I don't have sisters, I don't have brothers, I don't have anyone to talk to. Like literally the only person I talk to is you guys. After the accident killed 2 women and injured 4. I know, but those boys, and they all buy very big cars. Yeah, of course, when you have the money, you buy what you want. When you have the money, you buy what you want. But I think the bigger the car, the more powerful the car, the more careful you have to be, because the more responsibility you carry. And you see that boy was almost beaten to death. He's going to spend all the money he has trying to fix that mistake, or he'll end up in prison, because each of those people that died is going to take at least 10 million, and each of these sick people that are in the hospital will take at least 5 million. So he needs, right now he needs about 40 million to sort those things. Now chances are high he doesn't have 40 million. They're very high, so he might end up going to prison for about 5 years. Arthur, are you saying it's hot at home now? No, it's not. I don't think it's hot. It's 28 degrees centigrade outside. So guys, I have to go back to my ordinary life. Thanks for giving us hope. Watching you just makes our day better. I mean, I am glad that your day gets better, because mine definitely gets better. Especially the evening broadcasts, I think, are better. Evening broadcasts, what makes evening broadcasts better is that after you have gone through all the challenges of the day, because days are normally like, even my Sunday is also full of, so your day has been like that, and then you come and unwind on the broadcast, and then you talk. Like I may not be talking about things that have affected me, but I talk about other things and I forget about the other things. You get? So after here, I'm going to go lift my weights a little bit, shower, and then sleep as early as possible. Chris Fitness yagamba nyino kwebaka esawa munana, it's hard. Northern Uganda people can make you regret why you went there, and they drive badly. How much do they make you pay if you knock someone? Amina, Christian Murunga, thank you. The person who needs a musota, I've seen some being displayed by people called Major Motors. Ha! I won't say anything, nothing, Vako. I don't know how authentic they are, but they look decent. Vako. Guys, allow me say bye-bye to you. I'm just going to lift my weights and sleep. And then I'll see you tomorrow morning. I want to remind you guys, Ebiganye diagnosis katinji kolanyo 350 zoka machine yange eri yamanyi tenadda sekatawa yanguzeko machine yange ne nkadde jembadde nkozesa diagnosis. Now the guy promised my machine would come on Saturday, did not come. So sekatawa like every 5 hours ata jebaleko machine yo yazze ompe yange every 5 hours sekatawa ndi bubi ayagala machine. Hey, nze simanyi ngenda kukola buli kiseera anega oboli awo tudde mu office ndoza olumu kye kimuleta ne mu kibuga Mr. Kisenje baleko machine yo yazze naye kati oluvano ku live kan kubire gaaya ambudde lwaki machine yange tennava ku kisaawe nalese machine nene bwete mustake ezaba bedde ejja netula wano nekanga njagala nga bwe zijja mu inspection kola inspection tekawo machine nti nogamba ogusajja gwalese machine njagala nga nzijja nga bwenzije okola inspection emoroka ebatena yakaninyiga machine nti fani negenda ko nenyiga nti esi negenda ko nenyinge ngombe ne yekuba ye machine je nalese neno machine nungi bangambye ne ebyekola ne ebikola ne nagula eri machine nge ye ejira mu briefcase bwet najiguze million eza yakangene ko abantu inspection mbasere busezi sekatawa yatadde olayini sekatawa mbeera bubi every 5 hours era nizo bano ku live na kubera muzo machine eri kuki ne machine yejirina wano mujira machine ya sekatawa full pack sekatawa na ka box machine no mwegenda nkaina wana akasawo ogizinga oti nogiteekamu eno machine sekatawa ajagala bubi yambeera bubi naye kati nze mbeera nenge giti ntizevuga hybrid just in case ne tuye mu kazi n'enzungu emoroka ekujira n'ereeta obutala ng'olina oteekako okebere kati ensonga kyakyagindekedde naye essaawa enawe naawira nti Arthur yakyankalanye ne sekatawa mumanye ka machine kano kaleso yakasasula kashima ne sente simanyi gye nazikolamu naye yazimpa n'oggulaawo twakava ku kimeeza sente za machine eno sekatawa yazimpa ku lunaku lwa kimeeza olunaku lw'ekimeeza batabani bwe balya KFC oba baazirya KFC simanyi yazimpa n'enziteeka wano ngenda okulaba nga teziri oba mama bani yazijjawo n'azitereka nange simanyi. So Zirajab VIP, how are you? Manyi ngolese manyi mu inspection. Machine ezo tulina okuba nazo. Jukira kati nkola n'ebiganye diagnosis. Eyo machine ekebera ne Rolls Royce ya speaker Rolls Royce eyo machine ekebera ne Rolls Royce eyo machine gendese. sente wazia da sekata wanga mubinyo sekata ya chombala ne sente za inspection sagala kwalwe yalenga atho basente ze kutero ninga ndeka njagala kubala ku sente yange ya inspection jimpenji bale wano njiteke mu musawo ne makanika muweko zizenga tulaba naye kati ompereza sente nenzira tuka ku inspection nga sekubanja nintana ko tunia makanika nga ninga muyambo musasula. Hey guys, munzikirize ngende munzikirize mbasibule ngene stre byuma atebwe mala nebaki. Guys, mbagala nnyo muyombya Mark Enoka wagama President Antonio bane President Antonio mumusabire pressure ya mukuba recently naye kali agenda soka naye mutede musala ne Isaac Katamba Katende naye mulwadde ne family yonna malaria agiruma mubatere mu esara muwanguzi David Chambari Huntington VIP Michael UG Ajuka Blair VIP Kejo Van VIP Jones Info CBK Kasule Ramadan Jones Info Starch Events mwengena bala kama machine yange etuse nga gisawa no nebamba. I don't know if I will be excited after I see it. Mukama Patrick Ramacharity Organization Murunji Nathan Katamba Isaac Katende Mukama Abasuse ate kati Isaac singamba denga agenze mu gym mbadde nzijabuza okulabako nemba dengena mu gym ngezo laba kageno nga kawamu denga kanzire studio ebyuma bye waka kasitana byonna bigula. Sechanzi Charles Kasibante Akira Martin Sentongo Yusuf Minaj Richard K Adam Nampija Julie Mpanga Godfrey Richard Aki VIP Edwin Kags Kalwanye Williams Hubbard Victorious Christian Mulunga German Auto G-Force VIP Derek Nsumba Sibamaze umurowoza Sozi Rajab VIP Magani nze sente za inspection webazi mpanezi yanga sinatuka nga tutuka ku inspection nga nazira da makanika abanga basente zange. Anyway guys, mbagala nnyo, thank you very much, you make my day also. I prefer evening broadcasts by the way naye kati olwembeera y'emirimu morning broadcasts ziri okay naye zino evening broadcasts ziri relaxing zindi relaxing nnyo. But I wish you a very lovely evening. Don't drink and drive. Obo ina jogena nga tewesi gateka kakapira. Ciao.